Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains review. I apologize that I am late. I let a bunch of you guys know in my recent videos before I went on vacation that I was on vacation. I went to Cedar Point, Ohio. It was beautiful. The amusement park was incredible. Rode some really sick roller coasters, and it was a lot of fun. But I am glad to be back. I just watched episode 8, literally 20 minutes ago, probably not even that. I probably finished it like 10 minutes ago. So I am very excited to talk to all of you about this. I guess this is kind of like a Friday night treat, even though treat might not be the best term since it is over 48 hours late from when I usually do these reviews. I don't expect many people to tune in, but if you are tuning in, first of all, thank you, and please let me know all your thoughts on episode 8 down below. I know I am late to the party. I am also aware the summaries for episodes 9 and 10 came out along with the titles for 11, 12, and 13. I will be doing a separate video on that in like 4 or 5 hours, so definitely stay tuned for that. Very excited to get my thoughts on that, which I will not obviously give in this video because of people that maybe do not want spoilers, and I do respect people who do not want spoilers. So let's begin. What did I think of episode 8? I enjoyed episode 8 a lot, quite a lot actually. It was another really good plot episode. It did a great job at kind of transitioning from the aftermath of the Yusaku Blue Angel duel to now the Yusaku Revolver duel, which is probably the duel that I'd say 95% of the fandom was most excited for when we saw all the characters. When we got that picture of the 9 characters back in back in like late April, a couple of weeks before episode 1, and we got Revolver was pretty much going to be the rival with his design and his ace monster. Most of the fandom was very hyped for this duel, and this was the episode that is leading into the duel, as we know from the episode 9 preview, which is very awesome. Obviously, everyone is concerned about Aoi, about Blue Angel. Yusaku in the Link VRains is immediately trying to wake her up. He can't wake her up. Ignis eats the program, and I don't think it will ever be a case where Ignis goes into his secondary form and it doesn't gross me out. It's just very weird. But he kind of sucks the program out of Aoi's brain. And later on, he says, he makes some joke. He's like, yeah, it had kind of a sour taste going down. The Link VRains police are coming over, and so Yusaku logs out. He finds Aoi's real body on the roof. Again, he's just, I guess, very smart, and he's, trying to piece together. He's doing his 3 reasonings. He's trying to piece together where Aoi might be in the vicinity, and he figures out right away. He's 1 for 1 unless he went to other locations. Maybe he went into the girls' restroom, thought she would be in there, but they didn't show us that, which that would have been kind of a good comic relief scene. But for where they were in the episode, I don't think comedy was really needed. We were all kind of like, okay, where is Aoi? What's going to happen next? What is her fate going to be? So, while they maybe missed an opportunity for a really funny comic relief scene there, I don't think it would have been well warranted. Anyway, Yusaku finds Aoi on the roof. He calls Akira, and Akira was probably, in my opinion, the MVP of the episode. He was finally shown in a more human light. He was someone who was having a hard time winning me over, and what I mean by that is he was just someone who I always kind of thought, before this episode at least, that there was always kind of malintent with him, that maybe he didn't really care about Aoi, and he was only kind of showing and the main reasoning for that too was that they showed no signs of him being worried when she was almost scorched to death in the very first episode and Playmaker came to her rescue. He was only concerned about Ignis, but maybe that was just a scene where they didn't show us Akira's reaction, and Akira clearly, as we learn in this episode, was trying to hide the fact that Blue Angel was his sister, which comes back to kind of bite him in the butt, I guess you can say. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Akira and Yusaku have some kind of, I guess, bro moment, you can say, where Akira is just like, this is kind of awkward for me to ask, but are you and Aoi dating? I mean, that's kind of that's what obviously was implied there. Are you and Aoi boyfriend, girlfriend? And Yusaku's just like, no, we're just classmates. And Akira's like, oh, alright, well, thank you, you can leave. And so Yusaku leaves, and there were 4 characters that actually infuriated me in this episode, and I thought they were written extremely well because they didn't infuriate me because of bad writing or anything like that. And the first one is Emma. This is the first time we really get a good look at Emma, and they wrote her, and this is obviously how her character is. We knew her character was all about kind of self-gain. She was very selfish as a character, just based on her motivations. She's doing it all for money. She's doing it all for, I can't even really say notoriety. Really, she's just doing it for money and I guess the thrill of it for herself. And this is best demonstrated when the doctors are telling Akira that his sister, they can't figure out what's going on. His sister might never come out of a coma, and that's what a coma is. It can last a day, or it gets to a point where you just have to pull the plug and that's it, and hopefully it never gets to that point, but that's reality. That's what being in comatose is. And the doctors are telling him that, and Akira is clearly just very shaken. Akira was very all over the place this episode, which I think was realistic, and I think that humanized him really well. As the doctors are telling Akira this, they just pan out to Emma, who's listening in on the side, and at this point we know Emma is working with Akira. We learn that she's working with at least one other group, and maybe even another group based on a line that Ignis says, but I'll get to that in a little bit. And Emma is smiling, and I'm literally was sitting in my chair just thinking, this bitch, she's smiling because she's getting the information she wants to get so that she can get a big payday, while not even caring that Akira, someone that she is working for at the same time, his sister, his only family member, the only person that he cares about, might be dead, might never come out of this coma, and she has the nerve to smile, and then has the nerve to gloat about it to his face later in this episode, being like, yeah, I mean, she could have kept that in the dark if she wanted to, but she purposely went out of her way to tell Akira, who again is in a horrible place right now due to his sister's condition. I was the one that told your bosses, by the way, that Blue Angel was your sister. Just wanted you to know. Like, are you kidding? The nerve of this girl, that infuriated me. That was really good writing, because obviously the writers want to portray her in that kind of light. But if she did not infuriate you in this episode, then you have, I mean, just so purely apathetic, only caring about herself, not caring about Akira at all, and the nerve to just do that and gloat to him after he knows that his job, the one thing he's worked so hard for, and his sister could be gone. You got a lot of nerve to do that, and that was very, very interesting. The other very interesting thing that absolutely infuriated me too are the three uppers of Soltech that are just shooting darts at this guy. I mean, kick a man while he's down, why don't you? Again, the only family member that he has is in a coma, might never come out of the coma, and yes, he was kind of scummy and not telling you that Blue Angel was his sister. He probably didn't want them to use leverage against him. I understand it from that point of view. But, I mean, give the guy a break. I mean, they're just throwing darts, and I think one of them even has the nerve to say something like, yeah, it's kind of concerning that you can't keep your family safe, but we'll talk about that later, or there's time to discuss that in the future. And I'm just like, these guys, man, these three, or these six, because we haven't seen the King, Queen, and I believe it's the Knight we haven't seen, the Bishop, Rook. No, I think we haven't seen the Pawn chess piece, if there even is a Pawn chess piece. Or maybe it's the Knight. I know we've seen the Rook and the Bishop, definitely. But the King and the Queen and those five, they definitely have a human form, just like the reporters that are a frog and a bird in the real world, and the eagle. That was actually very funny. We got introduced to another reporter, and there was some funny banter between them. Just like them, they have human bodies. They have human forms, and it'll just be very interesting to see who these guys really are, because I still think that the leaders of Soltech, the chess pieces of Soltech, are going to be the big villains at the end of the show. But this episode did a great job in villainizing those three and making those three seem like dicks. I mean, they're going to fire Akira, clearly, and Akira knows that at the next executive meeting, I'm losing my job. He even says it that bluntly. So it made them look like dicks, it made Emma look like a bitch, and really, really good job in doing that. We have the final scene, Yusaku and Kusanagi are talking, a very interesting scene then occurs, and before, Revolver makes his grand entrance, which was an awesome, awesome moment in this episode. We have a moment where Yusaku goes into VRains to meet quote-unquote Blue Angel. He knows it's not Blue Angel. Everyone knows it's not Blue Angel, except Naoki and the fans. And Naoki even made a comment about the hot dog truck always being closed. That was kind of funny. And Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains, even in the most intense, dramatic episodes, have always thrown in these little comedic bits. And the comedy has been really, really well done so far, in my opinion. And this episode was no different. They see Blue Angel, and right before the tentacles come out of the ground and wrap Yusaku and trap him, Ignis makes a very interesting comment, and he says, it's not a mistranslation either, because you can hear him say it on the audio, she reeks of Hanoi. I even went back and listened to it again, just in case there was a mistake. He says she reeks of Hanoi, talking about Emma, and I mentioned before how we know Emma is working for another group, which were the three chess pieces of Soltech, while working with Akira, and possibly working for some member of the Knights of Hanoi. That'll be interesting, because then she's revealed to be working with Soltec, and Ignis says, I knew she was working with Soltec. No, you didn't. You said she reeked of Hanoi, so you were incorrect. So that scene was kind of strange, but it just adds more depth and mystery to Emma's character. Another moment we get before Revolver meets is Revolver and Dr. Kogami are talking about how the program worked, and this program did a great job in making Akira powerless, and we see that at the end of the episode, enforcing Playmaker to duel Revolver. That was the main goal, and Revolver even says we wouldn't have done this to a nobody. We had to do it to someone that would have brought out Yusaku's justice, and at the same time, it kind of killed two birds with one stone because it made you be unable to do anything, Akira. That's pretty much what he says. But Dr. Kogami is now a very interesting character because he says killing Ignis would be like killing your own children, which pretty much means he created Ignis. Did he create the Cyverse? Did he create this program? I bet money that he created this program. Also, Revolver clearly has, because Revolver comes in while all of them are talking and Akira is torturing Yusaku, and he comes in, and that was an awesome scene. And Revolver summons a data storm out of nowhere, and he's like, I have the power to destroy VRains. I choose not to. We know from Soul Technology's point of view that if you destroy the Cyberse, VRains is going to lose a lot of efficiency and eventually will die. This line of dialogue told me that there is another purpose of the Cyberse that we just do not know yet. We do not know the second purpose of the Cyberse, but whatever this second purpose is, that's the reason Revolver wants to destroy it. Hopefully we will learn that when Yusaku and Revolver duel, which is coming up in the next episode. That would be really cool. I don't know. This episode added a lot of mystery to the story, a lot of mystery to the plot, which most of these non-dueling episodes have done. Hopefully this next duel almost feels like it's the end of the season, right? It almost feels like it's the end of the arc. Like, this is the duel that we have wanted to see since the show, since these characters, I know I've already said it, but I'm just so excited for this duel, since these characters were aired, and to see Revolver and Yusaku kind of going back and forth, and Revolver's actually the one that gets Yusaku out of a jam. Akira's talking about ripping Yusaku limb from limb. I mean, really grotesque stuff, and you can see the pain that Yusaku is in, and even Ignis starts trying to plead with Akira that he doesn't know anything because Yusaku is unable to even speak at this point. And then Revolver leaves, Yusaku leaves, obviously he's going to try to duel him, and this is where we see Akira, his mind is all over the place. Akira's just like, Playmaker, what I did to you was horrible. I'm sorry. I hope you don't hate me. I hope I can trust you. And to just say something like that, again, shows how desperate Akira is in this moment. Because when you say something like, what I did to you is horrible, you've usually reflected on that for a couple days. It was within 5 seconds from Akira letting Playmaker go and letting him out of the trap to him already showing extreme remorse for his actions. Akira's all over the place. This episode humanized him well. It showed how heartless Emma is. It showed how cutthroat the 3 members of Soul Tech are, or the 3 chess pieces of Soul Tech, and it really just added to the mystery, the Dr. Kogami and Revolver scene of what is the Cyberse, what are the Knights' true goals, what are their true motives. Hopefully we will learn that in the duel coming up, which this episode also flowed from the Yusaku Aoi duel to the Yusaku Revolver duel brilliantly and beautifully. I cannot wait for the next duel. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all your thoughts on episode 8 down below. Let me know if you enjoyed it as much as I did. Let me know if you are excited for this next duel. Have an amazing day, everyone. Thank you so much for watching.